You have to think like a buyer. What's a buyer looking at? Just because your pictures look nicer is not going to get them in because the price is higher compared to other stuff that's in the market. They're going to look at everything. So you got to make sure it makes sense.
Another episode of We Fixed Real Estate. We're going to start on why it may be best for you to not buy a house.
Roll the videotape, as they would say. This guy is my new favorite TikTok.
If you are truly currently debating buying versus renting forever, you need to watch this video.
This is truly what I believe to be one of the best buy versus rent calculations currently out in the marketplace. And I just wanted to quickly walk through the logic and how the calculation actually works. So just to give it a little bit of background of what the problem I was trying to solve is, a lot of these calculators to do these analysis have the basic information and advanced information. But I wanted to start to challenge what these calculators could actually do with a lot of the what ifs that are questions that people often have when they are debating on whether or not to actually rent or buy a home. And just to get into the results pane on whether or not you are saving by renting or buying will be right here.
He sat there and he walked you through it. He did a spreadsheet showing you why you shouldn't buy a house. And instead, you should rent and invest. And it's like $4 million difference.
Now explain it, Fred.
How'd you like that one? I love this guy. It's my new favorite TikToker. I mean, it's just nothing exciting in terms of he's not going to charge. He's near George Clooney goes, but I love him. He's great. He's just a dude who gets it. And he's just showing based on data why you shouldn't buy a house. So this is hurting my allegedly.
It's not just, it's in personal. I mean, everybody's circumstances are different.
Right.
In this scenario, you shouldn't buy a house, but you can change the data. And
yeah. So his idea is, look, when you buy a house, these are all the costs you're going to have. And yes, you can switch around. And he even said, hey, just send him a DM and he'll switch around the data for you. You should really just release the spreadsheet and let us all play with it. But you get into a house, you got to buy furniture. You got to buy things to repair it with. You got to buy new windows. You got to eventually replace this and that and the other thing. And it all adds up. And yeah, it appreciate. But he did some guidelines on appreciation, very conservative. But he said also rent and invest. And if you invested, S&P 500, so he just goes into the whole thing of how you can invest. And I think he ended up with about $4 million more if you didn't buy a house.
wow,
After X number of years. I think 30, that was 30 years, I think. But it was interesting. And I mean, that doesn't even take into consideration if you rent for a year, you go somewhere else. The house, you're stuck and you got costs going in, going out, and et cetera, et cetera. So it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoy him. I'm following him. Doesn't have a lot of followers. And those are the fun people to find when you get them first.
that is fascinating. You got to run the numbers yourself and make sure it makes sense for you. And if you're not handy around the house, maybe a house isn't for you.
If you can't afford to hire the guy to come in and do it, then by the way, you can get $15 off tax bracket. Might as well do a commercial for them.
Yes.
And we'll publish the link right here.
Now, let's say you've gone ahead and you've bought the house. Now you want to sell the house. What do you have to say for those people? The first weekend comes and goes and there's no offers.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be buyers were falling out of trees and houses were flying off the shelves. We're in the second worst time of the year to list the house, which is July, August, especially July. July, people's brains are completely somewhere else. I guess it's not just the Tour de France, but there's plenty going on. People are seeing a little more on the market now. And also you got to understand some of the pricing sometimes. What's interesting is some listing agents and sellers will say, okay, we're going to list the house for $2 million. And then it takes them 2 months to get the place ready. And the seller says that, yeah, I want to list it for $2 million because that's what I want. But the comps have changed. The prices may have come down a hair. And maybe it doesn't make sense to list it at 2 million, list it at 1850 or 1999. But if the market shifts, you got to know it. So you really have to make sure and wait the price of listing until literally the day you go in the market, because you need to know what the comparables are. Because you have to think like a buyer. What's a buyer looking at? You know, just because your pictures look nicer is not going to get them in because the price is higher compared to other stuff that's in the market. They're going to look at everything. So you got to make sure it makes sense. I also tell sellers, go out to the open houses of the other houses. Take tours of them so you know what your competition is. So when someone gives you an offer and it's lower and, you know, then you've been to the other house and you understand that kitchen is a lot nicer and a lot more spacious and it makes a lot more sense for people. You don't want to go to the seller. It's just a thing. It's just, this is my house and I designed it. It's beautiful, but just like our friend Tyler, you got to be realistic and logic and use the data. So that's what we try to do.
This leads us right into the Reddit of the week. So the person hired someone to sell their house. They didn't sell it. Now they figure they're just going to get their own license and sell their own house.
Or buy their own house.
Or buy their own house.
Yeah. People like, yeah, you sort of had it right. But anyway, guy puts on Reddit that he wants to be his own agent and buy his own house. No experience. Just thought, hey, I'll save on the commission. You know, he thinks he has what it takes. Short answer is no. You remember the line about a fool for a client, you know, for attorneys? Same kind of thing. You don't know the forms. You don't know how to fill them out. You don't even know what you're negotiating. You've never done it. You don't know what the schedule, how to do it. Yeah, you can read on the internet kind of how, but the agent can take advantage of you and you don't even know it. Like, here's an example. Oh, in a county where normally a seller pays all the closing costs for title and escrow, they make you pay it. Little things, but it all adds up. And when you have to try to negotiate inspections and things like that, so it's crazy stuff. So the other thing, and this a lot of agents don't realize, when they list their own house, or when they represent themselves as a buyer, it's right there on the contract. Their errors and omission insurance is not applicable. It will not cover you for mistakes you made on your own listing. Because, you know, I figure the actuary tables say that there's been more fraud that way. It's my house and knows the ins and outs. And so they just said, no, we're just not going to cover you. So a lot of agents just don't get it. They could be on double secret probation.
Oh, and that's an agent actually trying to sell their own house.
Yeah. Or an agent representing themselves to buy a house.
Yeah, it's kind of like a doctor. You don't operate on yourself unless you're on TV.
Yeah. You know, it's 1831 and middle of nowhere and you have to get tree bark and you have to cut open to get the, you know.
You're better off having another doctor do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But that's TV in the movies and now AI makes it more wonderful. All right. Enough of that.
We are now at the Shit's Getting Real segment. SB 130.
Oh, right. SB 130. You know my love of condo management companies.
Oh, AB 130.
AB 130. Yeah. Assembly Bill 130. As opposed to Senate Bill 130. So the story was, okay, you can see the video if you want, but it's no big deal. The bottom line was a woman inside her unit. Yes, inside her unit. Put up a door. And one of the Karens who was on the board of directors walked past her house or something and saw it and then had her fined like $500 a day for doing it. I mean, it's just right. Exactly.
You're allowed to do anything you want inside.
I don't know the rules of this association, but this AB 130, it's going to pass. It will limit the amount of fine that an association can charge. It's $100 for the fine. Period. That's it. So it's beating down the Karens of the world. I love it because it's 99% just so stupid.
Oh yeah, we had our friends were getting fined like $100 a day or a week for for the plants in their front yard because they weren't approved.
Yeah.
Different.
Okay. Crazy.
But now it's just you can't have a recurring fine. It's just $100 if you. So can you just pay that fine and just already paid the fine and not do any changes?
It hasn't passed yet, so who knows? But they're doing something about it.
It's got to be. There's got to be more to it because I can see that almost being like a building permit. You want to do something that's against HOA, you just pay $100, and you've already been fined for it, so they can't get refined.
Yeah.
We're gonna dip into appraisals at the end if there was time, and we've got a couple minutes. I'm sure everyone's head to their seat to listen to appraisals.
Yeah. Well, what you don't know, which I've mentioned, but nobody pays attention to, is the fact that an appraiser knows the sale price of the property before they do an appraisal. They also get an estimate from a loan officer or a mortgage company, someone there gives them an estimate on what the value of the property is for an appraisal for a refinance. So the former Ginnie Mae president came out and has a whole article. We'll post a link to it. Alana McCargo posted a link about promoting fairness and accurate appraisals and changing the system. And one of the big things was to get rid of the fact that the appraiser knows the sale price. So we're all excited about that. Probably most agents have no idea, but now reality is going to come in. This will help people when there is a real appraisal, an arrogant seller who wants to, every last dime. I mean, you still can buy it at the sale price, especially if you don't have an appraisal waiver. If you're willing to pay a few extra bucks. Some people are because the market's just crazy in an ascending market. But, in a quote unquote normal market where people are getting really overcharged for the properties, this is great. So we'll see what happens.
Are appraisals more lenient when you're buying a house, like when you're buying a house versus refinancing a house?
It depends. You have to go by what the comparable sales are. So it doesn't matter if it's an appraisal for a refi or a purchase. The value on that day is the value of that day.
Yeah,
it's not contingent on the type of financing.
This was 12 years ago, and my house was a different house, and I needed the appraisal to come in at $495. She would only come to $490.
You know what? She's doing her job.
She's doing her job. At $5,000 and a $490 was a interesting line in the sand. I was asking for $525.
There were no comparables.
That was the thing.
You can't be the highest price in the neighborhood, the highest appraisal in the neighborhood when you're refinancing because nobody's establishing the value
of what you're willing to pay.
Buyer is establishing the value of what they're willing to pay. Exactly.
I get it.
See what I mean?
So with refines, you really are stuck to the comps.
You got it. What someone's willing to pay for a similar house.
With the new house, you can see all these people are willing to pay for it, and you kind of set the new price of the house.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
There you go. And with that, I think we're done.
Yeah, I do. Another episode of We Fixed Real Estate. I'm going to go take an aspirin.